This thing in Houston is fitting to get interesting. I don't know what to say. Houston, we have a solution, or Houston, we have a problem. Houston Rockets intend to sign Carmelo Anthony for about $2.4 million, come through like a mid-level exception. That's a good sign for Houston in the fact that they can now make a second run at Clint Capella. We all know that he turned down the original contract from Houston, said it was too small. So Houston, in some shape or form, they are going to keep their core intact and add Melo. In our estimation, Carmelo Anthony is a better replacement or a better player than Luke Marabute or Trevor Ariza. If you guys remember, in the game 6 and game 7, Trevor Ariza and Luke Marabute were no shows. Game 7, the Rockets couldn't hit the side of a barn. They missed like 29 or straight threes or something like that. So Carmelo's not gonna miss all those threes in a row, whatever the case. He's not gonna miss 5, 6, 7 threes in a row. He is a volume shooter, but I've never seen him miss 7 wide open shots in a row. Never. I've seen him miss 7 contested shots, but never 7 wide open shots. So here's the thing. This is big for both parties. For Houston, if Carmelo can be productive, now you have a third guy, a third wheel that can actually take some pressure off of James Harden, CP3, make those guys more of a threat. Because you got to remember, when teams know they can load up on you, you're no longer that much of a threat. If they know that you're the main guy that could beat them, you're not a threat. The reason why, for example, like the Golden State Warriors are so deadly in the West is because they know, that Steph could get off. I could try to bottle Steph up, but that doesn't matter because guess what? Clay could get off. Kevin Durant could get off. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So same thing with like the 2001 Lakers. Shaq is gonna give me the business, but can I contain Kobe? Oh no. Oh, well, if I contain Kobe and Shaq, will Robert Horry hit a big shot? Will Derek Fisher hit a big shot? Teams that are competitive teams for NBA titles, they can beat you in a multitude of ways. It's not just one guy. Matter of fact, it's multiple guys. It's the whole team. Everybody is live. Everybody's a threat. Now, each threat level might be a little bit different than the other, but it's still a threat level. With the Houston Rockets, you knew what they were going to do. Dribble, 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 pass for a 3, or step back for a 3. So even when CP3 got there, he brought a little bit more emotion into the offense, and he exploited the mid-range game, but it was basically the same deal. Dribble, 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 dribble. Now you have a Carmelo Anthony who comes into the mix, so now you know post up. Now it's not just dribble, dribble. Now it's not just a perimeter game. He could beat us up inside. He could rebound. He could space the floor. So that's going to be something that Houston's going to want to exploit. But to me, the reason why I didn't want Carmelo Anthony to go to the Houston Rockets, because A, he almost looks like he's going to be a journeyman. They're only signing him for $2.4 million for 1 year. So basically, if this coming year doesn't work out, they're not going to explore Carmelo Anthony anymore. So we're going to look at Carmelo Anthony, who came in that draft with, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. We're looking at a guy that he's possibly, after this upcoming season, if they don't do well, they don't succeed, he'll be looking at his 14, 15. At that point, he's going to have to retire. And another thing that I didn't want, the reason why I didn't want Carmelo Anthony to sign with the Houston Rockets, because that puts a lot of pressure on them to win a title. They have so much pressure now to produce, to beat the Golden State Warriors. They can't say, well, we lost Trevor Ariza, we lost Luke Mambute. This is a process. They can't say any of that now. You were up 3-2 on the Warriors. You could have closed them out at home. You could close the Warriors out on the road, and you could close them out at home. You didn't do either. So there's no more excuses. So the thing is what I'm fearful of is Carmelo Anthony goes to the Houston Rockets, plays, they get to the Western Conference Finals, and they lose, and everybody just blames Carmelo Anthony like he's a scapegoat. Like, we're going to ignore the fact that CP3 is basically, and I say this with the utmost respect, I love CP3, but he's like Mr. Glass from Unbreakable. Like, he's always getting injured during the playoffs. We're going to act like, James Harden had some games where he didn't play well. We're going to act like CP3 and James Harden, they could play well individually at certain games, but together they never have like 25, 10, and 12, 25, together in the playoffs. I never really seen that from them. Now you're adding another guy who is a quote-unquote ball stopper, and now what that does is that's gonna lower the production of those two guys. So if Carmelo can't produce, but he's getting a bunch of touches, that's gonna kill him. That's gonna kill him. Another thing is, you put a lot of pressure on Melo to come in the camp in the shape. Like it's so much pressure on Melo. Like I think for Houston, $2.4 million is nothing. Plus they get to keep Capella. If they could just find some more shooters, plug and play. If Melo acts up, they could either trade him or they could just cut him, buy him out. They could do whatever they want. But for Carmelo Anthony, I think this is a crossroads in his career. This is a crossroads in the career. And I said third team. This is gonna be his fourth team. He played in Denver. He played in New York. He played OKC. Now he's gonna play for Houston. So now you're approaching Dwight Howard status, where you're on 4, 5, 6 teams. That's not something that's good for your legacy or your career, and you never won a title. So this is basically a crossroads for a career, a referendum for his career. If the Houston Rockets can't get to the NBA Finals, I already know what the headlines are going to read. Carmelo Anthony stopped them. Carmelo Anthony's defense. Carmelo Anthony's too slow, whatever the case. Carmelo Anthony's not a good player. So I just don't understand why he would want to put himself in a situation like that. But then again, maybe he's betting on himself to say, I'm gonna prove all the critics wrong. I'm gonna do what I have to do to win this title, and we're gonna beat the Warriors. And we're gonna beat whoever comes in our path to win a championship. So maybe they could get Clutch City this year. Maybe last year was just the beginning, and then this is ushering in a new dynasty. I highly doubt it. I felt like this move was it's a tough move for Melo, but he's gonna do what he wants to do. He wants to get chopped and screwed. He's gonna get scrutinized like hell because Houston is a championship town, guys. You gotta remember that Houston is a championship town. They know what it's like to win. From the WNBA to NBA to baseball. So Melo can't come up in there with a diva attitude or none of that. They're gonna shut it down, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hoops Junction for hoops. Meets hoopla.